Now, this word, we've come across that word before in our tax lessons. Now, exempt simply means it is outside the coverage or the scope of whatever type of tax you are talking about. So it could be, it is an exempt income, meaning that you don't include it among the taxable income. So in that same way that you use the technical definition of that is the same one that we shall apply here. That when you're dealing with an exempt supply, it means that that transaction is not taxable, or it is not covered within the scope of VAT. So anytime you make an exempt supply is, for example, when you go to a hospital and you're getting medical services, that is exempt. So in that, if you get a bill from hospital, it doesn't have VAT. Why? Because medical services are exempt from VAT. So they are not considered as transactions that are covered within the scope of VAT. The same applies to educational fee. Anytime you pay school fees, you do not get in your fee, in your receipt, there is no 16% VAT or 0% VAT because it is exempt. So an exempt transaction is a transaction that does not attract VAT because it is not covered within the scope of the VAT Act. Now, the implication of exempt supplies, so for example, we've given examples of medical services, veterinary services, education services, other than seminars, and also something like burial and cremation services, supply of water. They do not attract VAT. Now that means you'll not apply 16% or 0% because it is completely outside the scope of VAT. Implication 1, we get back here. Do not include their value not included. So it is excluded when determining the 5 million threshold turnover. That's the first implication. Then the second implication is that input VAT suffered is not recovered. Input VAT suffered, what you pay on them, is not recoverable from output VAT. Output VAT or refundable, or it's not refunded by the commissioner. So that means the business absorbs the input VAT. Of course, if you're making exempt supplies only, you're a hospital, you do not need to register. So no need to register for VAT. Again, the schedule on exempt services is also contained in our study text. So for that, you can refer to the study text. We have come to the end of the lesson. In this lesson, we have looked at key terms that are used in VAT, looked at the meaning of supply, what is it at, after what transaction do we now say that you have added value and you can levy VAT. We've also looked at the tax point, when does VAT become due and payable? And we said you're going to account for VAT in the month that you received the invoice or part payment or full payment for the supply, or the architect issued a certificate, or you made a delivery for the goods. In that month, account for VAT. We've also looked at the VAT rates, which you've said there are two rates. A transaction will either be taxable at 0% or what you've called zero-rated transaction or supply, or at 16%, what we've called the standard rated supply. Then we've looked at types of supplies. We've said there are two types of supplies. a transaction is either within the VAT bracket, it is taxable, or is it outside the scope of VAT.